here we are in my kitchen again. So we're going to talk about blueberries. So I have lots of blueberry bushes. So I found something really interesting about, we have two sets of blueberry bushes. We have a set near our front gate that we bought from a nursery. We bought 4 different kinds, and I do not remember the brands that they were back then. So we bought 4 different varieties. We planted them down by the gate, and they've done okay, but they've never been great. I think part of the problem was we planted them where we had bushes and things grow up huge, which has kept the sun away from them a little bit, some. So that's been a problem. So they're kind of leaning. But the other thing is we get a lot of Japanese beetles, ants, and all kinds of things around those berries. So this white bucket came from that. And these are not, they don't taste as good. They're not as sweet. And, you know, the berries are kind of, I don't know, they just haven't done as well. And every year we've struggled. It took me an hour. I have 8 bushes down there, 7 bushes now. We had 12. And it took me an hour to pick 1 bucket off of all those bushes. So a lot of them were already just not so good. So they come on a little bit earlier than my other ones that are here around my tiny house. So then I went and picked these, and these are from here around my tiny house, and it took me an hour, but these taste so good. And these berries, I think we've said in a previous video, we got locally from somebody who has a blueberry farm and has produced these berries for the last 40 years, these plants. And so they must be really adapted to this area. I don't know what varieties he started with, the gentleman who planted them. His family is continuing to do them, but they're very tasty. They're really good. I'm probably not going to pick any more or much more from the berries down by the road. But I think I got 30 gallons of berries off of mine here, and I have 15 bushes. So I think I've already picked the ones from down the road, by the road. They tasted good to begin with, but it's been raining a lot too. And I'm not sure if the rain has really caused a problem as well, because sometimes the berries get really big and a little watery. So I don't know. But anyway, I think the bushes down there, I think I picked 6 or 8 gallons this last week and a half, and sold those. And then now I'll be picking off these. These are just starting. They're a little bit behind the other bushes. So I got 30 gallons last year, and I may still get that many this year. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, so these are the berries. Now, last year we put berries in the freezer. And we did the, what sucks the air out? The
vacuum sealer.
Packer. Yes, the vacuum sealer. So I started fermenting blueberries last year because we had so many, and I wanted to see if fermented blueberries would be good. So I'm going to pull out, I've got 2 gallons that I just did. I filled back up this week. Push that. Ooh. Jar needs to be there. 2, let's see. Yeah, here they are. So I had a half a gallon, maybe, or a little bit less than a half a gallon. And then I pulled a bunch of berries out of my freezer. And I had a bunch of whey. I had some whey. I had made a couple of gallons, a gallon or so of yogurt last week. After I got back from Massachusetts, I needed some more yogurt. So I took the whey and added it to, I don't remember which jar had the older berries in it, but I kind of mixed them up. So we had the older fermented berries because they were going to be really good to give the new berries the bacteria that we want them to have. So I basically filled both jars up until they were full of whey and new berries from the freezer. And I add a little bit of salt. Probably for both jars, they already had a little bit of salt in them from last year, but I probably added about a half a teaspoon to each jar. You don't want to put too much salt, but the salt also helps keep the yeast down and some of the things you don't want. So I left these out on the counter, I think for 1 day, because I don't want them to turn into wine, and the salt will help keep that from happening. But I might have left them, I think I left them for a good 24 hours. I was going to do them 12 hours, and they, I think 24 is good. Sometimes you can leave them out for 2 days when you're first starting. But because I already had ferment in them, I just left them out for 24 hours. So now I have 2 big jars. I've been taking these berries and making a fruit compote. I just blend it. And so here's my jar of the, it's almost empty, but here's my jar of the fruit compote. And I just take a blender, a stick blender, immersion blender, and I just grind up the berries. And I had company, so I did not add any sweetener to this, because some people don't like stevia or any of those other kinds of sweeteners. So I didn't add any. And so I don't even think I put spices in this, but last time I made it, I added some sweetener and spices, and then I just poured on my yogurt every day. So this time I didn't, but it still tastes really good. You know, I've been adding it to my yogurt. When I make my yogurt, I always put a little bit of spice in it anyway. So, and you can add extra whole new fresh berries if you want. But I make this compote, so I don't eat these straight because they're tough. The skins are tough. So it's tough when you freeze them. You know, the skins are kind of tough. So I always blend my berries, you know, when I freeze them or when I ferment them. So this has been, so I got these 2 big jars. This should last me a good long time. I probably won't make any more. If we have extra berries that we don't sell this year, we'll put them in the freezer. And so we want some in the freezer for the winter in case, you know, Tim likes to do smoothies. And so he'll put blueberries in smoothies. So that's a way to use your berries and keep them. So I'm going to put these back. So if anybody has questions, so basically I need to make sure I just put berries in whey, and it was straight whey. When I first made them, I had added whey and filtered water. This time I didn't need any filtered water because there was enough whey and juices and everything. Didn't have to add it. And that was it. So I just dumped frozen berries in and added the whey, made sure everything's covered with liquid, added a half a teaspoon of salt to each jar, and that was it. And it was done. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Do they taste kind of tangy? Or salty? What do they taste like?
They're sweet, tangy, and salty.
Okay.
And that's what our mouth really likes. So because of the sour from the whey, it has a little bit of sour, tangy flavor. Because of the berries, it's got a little bit of sweet flavor. And then because I added the salt, it has a little salt flavor. And I had never put salt in my yogurt. You know, I just never thought of doing that. But because these berries have a little salt in them, it just makes all the flavors pop. So when you add it to the yogurt, there's a little bit of savory fat in the yogurt. So all of that makes our mouth pop when we eat some of these foods. It makes them taste really good. And I learned that, I've talked about it before in some of our videos, that my daughter's a chef, and she said when you put all those flavors together, sweet, sour, savory, and salty, that our mouth really likes all those flavors together. So I think it really helps. So you get lots of good nutrition, lots of antioxidants, good healthy fat, salt, and everything together.
Could you dump those as they are into a smoothie, or would that make it taste too strong?
No, you could easily put them in a smoothie. Yeah, because you know, you just put as much or as little as you want. You know, so basically it shouldn't be a problem at all to put them in a smoothie.
Have you tried making any sort of jam, like with chia seeds and the fermented berries and a little bit of sweetener?
I have not.
No.
Nope. Not tried that, but that's not a bad idea. That's something we could, you know, absolutely try. I don't eat jam per se, because I don't do peanut butter and jelly anymore like I used to, like I loved. So I don't know what I'd put the jam on without, any application you could use for the fruit compote, you could use for jam. Like with cottage cheese or with any kind of
yogurt or
dessert thing that you want to do. You can probably put it on, I don't know about making a pie or something like that with it. That might be, you know, I've never looked into recipes like that. So that's something we could investigate.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
All right, I'm going to put them back in my fridge
And they do need to stay refrigerated after the first 24 hours.
Yes,
Okay.
it's way too hot in Alabama to keep ferments out. So unfortunately, we do have to refrigerate all our ferments. So I've been talking to Tim about how we get more refrigerators to put ferments in. So we're going to have to get the optimal number of space, the optimal amount of space. I fortunately have the clinic, so sometimes I have to take them there to store a few ferments. But so far I haven't. But we may add one more small refrigerator up there. But we have to worry about our solar panels and how much power it takes to keep a fridge. So I will put these back.